Mixed reports are constantly being put out, right? One minute, Lakers are trading Westbrook. The next minute, they're not. Conversations are being had. Conversations aren't being had. And it's just a never-ending mix and a never-ending cycle of just proposed trades and speculations and stuff like that. But if I'm being honest, I mean, come on, it's fun. It's fun to go down these rabbit holes. It's fun to hear all the different possibilities and variations and which teams may be in the mix, which teams not. I know for some of us, it does kind of suck to hear, a proposed trade we get excited for and it doesn't happen, but that's the offseason, right? And especially right now with reports, stuff like that, Westbrook is the big name on the market. So, of course, you're just going to hear all of these proposed trades. But at least it's within the same scope of teams, right? It's not like we're hearing, oh, this random team just came out of the woodworks and want to get involved now, where it just is like, okay, like that doesn't really make sense. All the teams that have been mentioned all do make sense, and they're all real possibilities to land Russell Westbrook. And one of the teams that has been rumored and mentioned for some time is the San Antonio Spurs. The San Antonio Spurs were even willing to get in on the Kyrie trade a while back and be the team to take on Westbrook for a first. They've said that they would take Westbrook and, clear some cap and stuff like that in order to get a first round pick, because the Spurs are full on tank mode for Victor. So pretty much everyone on the roster is available. Everyone on the roster is good to go. They're not going to play Russ because the whole point is to tank, rebuild, go get the prize that is Victor, and then you're off into the races. So the Spurs would be willing to unload pretty much anyone you want. If, you're willing to give up a first and stuff like that. Pieces for their future, essentially. And so it makes sense that the Spurs would get involved. Well, Ernesto Cova actually proposed a 3-team deal between the Spurs, the Lakers, and the New York Knicks. Now, obviously, we talked about a Knicks, Jazz, and Lakers trade. Now, that was just something that I threw out there that I was like, hey, if they wanted to do the 3-team deal that was originally discussed, but without Donovan Mitchell, here's how they could do it. This is kind of similar. This is a lot like what I was saying with the Jazz, the Knicks, and the Lakers. They're just supplementing the Jazz with the Spurs. And so this 3-team deal proposal idea is basically something that I could actually see happening, and we'll break it down. But here's the trade. Here's the trade that was proposed by Cova, which is San Antonio Spurs get Russell Westbrook in a 2027 first-round pick via the Lakers. The New York Knicks would get Doug McDermott, and the Lakers would receive Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and Josh Richardson. Now, for the Lakers, obviously, this would be a grand slam home run. You get 2 wing players and your shooter, a guy that could be your starting 2, stuff like that. So you could literally run Pat Bev, Evan Fournier, Josh Richardson, although he'd probably come off the bench, or Patrick Beverley comes off the bench. You have Josh Richardson. You have some flexibility here with this team, especially if LeBron is your pseudo point guard, then you could run Josh Richardson, Evan Fournier, and LeBron. There you go. Now you're in a good space with Davis, Thomas Bryant, get Cam Reddish, and again, Evan Fournier. New York Knicks, they get Doug McDermott. Now, when it comes to Doug McDermott, they're not losing that 3-point shooting. That's the whole point. And then the Spurs, they just want to unload guys. They just want to just go full tank mode and just recoup assets. So that's why the Spurs would do that. But diving into the Knicks side for the Lakers, which is Evan Fournier and, Cam Reddish. Now, these two have been a part of pretty much every deal for the Knicks and the Lakers. Cam Reddish was pretty much traded to the Lakers last season. Paperwork was getting ready to be finalized, and the Knicks just got greedy at the end, and that deal ended up falling apart. Cam Reddish, based on reports, wants out. He wants a change of scenery, and the Lakers make a ton of sense. Evan Fournier is a guy. Now, you might be thinking, why would the Knicks trade, these two for Doug McDermott, right? What's the point, right? Well, they were going to include these guys in the deal. They were just going to give these two to the Lakers already in the Jazz, the Knicks, and the Lakers deal for Donovan Mitchell and stuff like that. They want to clear roster spots, one, for the young guys, but also clear off of cap space. Yes, Evan Fournier and McDermott, they both do have the same amount of years, 2 years, but McDermott makes like $6 or $7 million less than Evan Fournier. Plus, you're moving off of Cam Reddish's salary as well, and you're moving off of his roster spot for some of these young guys where Tibbs doesn't want to play him. And I know Cam Reddish, only 1 year, but still, it's saving money this year for, taxes and stuff like that. You got to remember, 1 million is like 3 when you're in the tax area and stuff like that. So that's why they would be willing to move off of these two guys for Doug McDermott. Even in the original trade that was being discussed based on reports, that trade, the Knicks weren't going to get draft picks from the Lakers. They don't care about the picks from the Lakers. I mean, obviously, if they can get them, they'll get them. But the Knicks want to unload guys and clear cap space to help with the new Brunson and RJ Barrett, their new contracts, their spots for Grimes, quickly, McBride, guys like that. That's the whole point. The Knicks, even in the recent report about a couple days ago, after the Donovan Mitchell trade fell through, there was a report that the Knicks are still interested in making a trade straight up with the Lakers. Even in that deal, there's no picks being exchanged because the Knicks just need to unload these guys. It's a mutual beneficial swap. And the Knicks might actually play Russell Westbrook, believe it or not. Brunson has played right alongside Luka. Now, obviously, in this deal, the Knicks wouldn't be getting Westbrook, but I'm just speaking on that deal, like straight up deal in general. They might actually play Russell Westbrook, where the Spurs, they're just going to buy him outright. Now, this essentially would come down to, would the Knicks not want to take Russ? Which, by all reports, the Knicks do want to take Russ. And if they were the team to take Russ, they could unload that third player, like a Derrick Rose or something like that. But if the Lakers are like, we don't want Rose, we don't want anybody else, we don't want Randall, we'll take Fournier, we'll take Reddish, then that could be where the Spurs would come in as that third team. And then, again, for the Knicks, you're getting Doug McDermott, so you still have that 3-and-D type guy, that Evan Fournier type player, but you don't have to start him. And if you need to, he's an easier contract to unload and move, because now he's $13 million as opposed to $18, $19 million. So that's a big difference there too. So if you do want to unload him, you do want to move off of him, you can. McDermott can help now, he can help in the future, but they would essentially not only be cutting off, the extra $10 million or whatever it is between Reddish and Fournier's contract, but they would also be saving another, $15 million in tax. So that would be huge for the Knicks team. And that's why they would be looking at something like this where we'll take on McDermott because we'd just be saving so much money in doing that deal. We also free up the roster spots. Now we can start Grimes or we can start, McBride, stuff like that. McDermott, he could be a guy off the bench for us, fill in a pinch, be a shooter. I think that this is something I could see the Knicks doing a deal like this just based on everything that has been reported of what the Knicks are looking for right now that the Donovan Mitchell trade has fallen through. This is kind of up that alley. Let's unload these contracts. Let's clear up some space for the young guys. Let's clear up some cap space, so we're not so heavily in the tax area, stuff like that. That's what this does. This would be perfect for the Knicks. So I completely understand why the Knicks would do it. Spurs, they're getting that first round pick. They're full on tank mode, so they don't care. It's not, because some people are going to be like, well, why would they give up Josh Richardson? And I'm not saying they will. I don't know or think that this deal would actually happen or go through. It is a really interesting one. I think this is a home run deal for the Lakers. If this is something you only give up one pick, you get Cam Reddish, Josh Richardson, and Evan Fournier. But it does make sense for all teams involved. The Lakers get what they want. The Spurs, they're just trying to unload guys, be as terrible as possible this year, and get some assets. If they could get that first round pick, they're basically giving up a first round pick. They're getting a first round pick to move off of McDermott's contract, and so you're basically getting a pick for Josh Richardson is essentially what this deal boils down to for the Spurs, because Doug McDermott, they could care less. They get to move off of his money. That's perfect for them. Like right now, they don't have to pay him, for the next 2 years, and they get to go into tank mode. So you're basically giving up a first round pick for Josh Richardson in this deal. That's what this essentially boils down to. And the Knicks are unloading their guys and their cats. This is a huge win-win for everybody. This might be one of the most realistic win-win trades that I've seen. as far as like all sides getting what they want. You know, Spurs, they full tank mode. They get a first round pick for Josh Richardson and move off of McDermott's contract. The Knicks, they save salary cap. They free up spots for their young guys to come in and start. They save luxury tax, all of that stuff. Perfect. 2-for-1 swap. Great to see, great to hear. And then the Lakers, they get their guys, right? The Lakers get Josh Richardson, Cam Reddish, and Evan Fournier. That is about as good as you can get. You get your wing depth, you get your perimeter defense, you get your 3-and-D guys, you get a little bit of everything. Josh Richardson might be the best player the Lakers could get out of any trade. And my thing that I've said over and over again about the Spurs deal, because the Spurs deal is something that we've talked about on this channel before, but I've said my problem is outside of Josh Richardson, I don't like anybody else. Like, I think the Knicks deal as a package is better, and I think the Jazz deal as a package is better. But you're essentially picking the best two players from the Knicks deal and the best player from the Spurs deal. I would take this. I would take this over the Jazz deal. I would take this over the Knicks deal straight up. I'd take this over the Spurs deal. I would even probably take this over the Pacers deal, just because you're getting those two young wing players that can help you now and the future. This is great. You're not really losing your cap flexibility. You still have that first round pick if you need to move off of Evan Fournier to go get Kyrie Irving, and you can still re-sign these guys. I mean, front to back, this is the best deal the Lakers could possibly get. Will it happen? Probably not. Is it possible? Yes. So fingers crossed. I would absolutely love for this to happen, and I pray it does, because again, this would be the best deal the Lakers could get, hands down, in my opinion. But as always, this is a discussion, and those are my thoughts and opinions. So I pass the question on to you. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Do you agree? Yes, this is the best deal so far. Lakers, if you can, get this done. Again, this is just a proposal. This is not saying, I'm not saying that this is something that's going to come out. I'm not saying that this is something that's going to happen. I just saw this proposal and I was like, hey, this is actually pretty interesting. Ernesto Cova, he put out a pretty good, reasonable thing, whether it's an inside source or whatever it is. Nonetheless, I think it's a pretty good, overall deal. But again, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.